Let's be honest, dishwashers are one of those household appliances we often take for granted. You load it up, press a few buttons, and somehow, hours later, your crusty dinner plates come out sparkling clean. Magic, right? But if you've ever paused for a second while emptying your dishwasher and wondered how exactly does this thing do what it does, well, you're in for a fascinating little dive. Because behind that clunky door is a surprisingly clever mix of plumbing, heat, engineering, and even a dash of chemistry. It's not just hot water spraying around randomly. There's a whole choreography happening inside. And once you understand it, you might never look at your dishwasher the same way again. So let's break it down right here on History of Simple Things. Every dishwasher cycle begins the same way, with a command. Once you shut the door and hit start, you're essentially giving the machine a green light to kick off a sequence of tasks, almost like a checklist. But before water even starts flowing, the first thing the dishwasher does is drain any leftover water from the previous cycle. Even if you think it's dry in there, there might be a little puddle at the bottom. It's kind of like clearing the slate. Once that's done, the dishwasher fills up with water. But here's the twist. It doesn't fill like a washing machine would. There's no full basin or tank getting flooded. Instead, it pulls in just the right amount of water from your home's water supply through an inlet valve. We're talking a few liters, enough to get the job done, but way less than washing dishes by hand. After pulling in water, the next step is heating it up. Most dishwashers have an internal heating element at the base, kind of like the coils in an electric kettle. While your home's hot water might already be warm, the dishwasher often boosts that temperature even higher, usually to somewhere between 50 and 70 degrees Celsius. That's way hotter than your hands could handle, which is a big reason why dishwashers are generally better at removing grease and stuck-on food. Once the water is hot enough, it mixes with detergent that you've either poured into a compartment or placed in tablet form. The dishwasher automatically opens that little detergent door at the right time, usually after the first rinse, allowing the soap to blend in when it's most effective. Now we get to the action part, the spraying. At the bottom of your dishwasher, there's a motor that powers a small pump. That pump pushes the hot, soapy water into rotating spray arms. These spray arms usually look like small plastic propellers with holes along them, and they're designed to spin as water shoots out. And it's not just about spraying randomly. The water pressure causes them to rotate in such a way that they cover every inch of the racks above. Some dishwashers even have multiple spray arms, one at the bottom, another below the top rack, and sometimes a third one under the cutlery tray. The rotation isn't powered by a motor in each arm, by the way. It's the pressure of the water alone that makes them spin, which is kind of elegant in its simplicity. As the arms rotate, they blast the dishes from below and above with forceful jets of hot water mixed with detergent, dislodging food particles, grease, and grime. So, what happens to all that food and gunk that gets blasted off? Well, it doesn't just float around and reattach itself to your glasses. That would be pretty counterproductive. Near the base of your dishwasher, there's a filter system, usually a mesh or cylindrical screen, that traps larger food particles. Some high-end dishwashers even have a mini garbage disposal-like chopper that grinds up the debris so it can be safely drained away. Most standard models, however, rely on that filter, which means it's a good idea to clean it out every now and then, unless you want a smelly backup. The water, now loaded with debris and soap, eventually drains out through a pump and hose system, connected to your sink's plumbing or dedicated drain. After the initial wash, the dishwasher doesn't stop there. Now comes the rinse cycle, sometimes even multiple rinses. The goal here is to wash away all the loosened food and detergent residue, using fresh, clean water. This rinse water is also sprayed through the arms just like before, though this time it's detergent-free. Depending on the cycle you've selected, eco, heavy, quick, the dishwasher might rinse once or several times, with pauses in between. And in some machines, a rinse aid is automatically added during this stage. That's that bluish liquid you pour into a separate compartment, and its job is to help the water sheet off the surfaces, preventing spots and speeding up drying. Once your dishes are squeaky clean, there's one last thing to do: dry them. Now, how that happens actually depends on the model of your dishwasher. Some machines use that same heating element we talked about earlier to create warm air that evaporates the water off your dishes. Others rely on a fan to circulate hot air inside the chamber. And newer, energy-efficient models often skip the heating altogether and use something called condensation drying. That's where the stainless steel walls of the dishwasher, cooler than the steamy air, cause the moisture to collect and drip down away from your dishes. It's a quieter and more energy-saving method, but it can sometimes leave a little dampness behind on plastics or awkward-shaped items. People often assume dishwashers are water-hungry monsters compared to hand washing, but that's a misconception. A modern dishwasher uses somewhere between 6 to 15 liters of water per cycle. Compare that to leaving your tap running while washing by hand, and you're easily using 30 liters or more. Plus, dishwashers heat water internally, often more efficiently than your hot water tank, and they recycle water during the rinse and wash stages. So as long as you're running full loads and not pre-rinsing everything like your grandmother taught you, dishwashers actually save both water and energy. So the next time you hear that low hum in your kitchen and see the faint steam rise when you open the door at the end of a cycle, you'll know it's not just water splashing around inside. It's a mini industrial wash zone, working in perfect sync, pulling in water, heating it to just the right temp, pumping it through a maze of nozzles, filtering out debris, rinsing it clean, and drying it all off. It's a modern miracle that fits under your kitchen counter and saves you hours of scrubbing. It's not glamorous, and it doesn't have the glitz of a smartphone or a TV, but the humble dishwasher is a silent workhorse. And now that you know how it works, maybe, just maybe, you'll even clean the filter once in a while. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.